Hey everyone, it's Kristin Thompson, and we are back with the Highly Visible Entrepreneur Series. And today we're talking about how to close those one-to-many sales. We're going to talk about why that's so important. We're going to talk about 3 keys that will make this happen for you in a really big way so that you're comfortable, so that you're confident, highly visible, serving your people in a really big, bright way, and making tons of money all at the same time. Whoosh! Wishing you good vibes this morning. Hope you're having a super rockin' day so far. Hello, Susan. You're amazing. Thank you so much for joining us. Aurora, mwah. Good to see so many familiar faces. Please make sure you share this with a few folks. Give us some visibility, and you'll be entered to win. If you share it 3 times, we'll wish you back. We'll do a special drawing. We've got prizes lined up for you. And today, hello, Suzanne Doyle Ingram. Look, she's in the chat box. Make sure you know Suzanne. She will be at the Rise Live event. She is our book expert. I cannot wait for all of you who come to the Rise to meet Suzanne. She is brilliant at helping you create your own book or collaborative books with other experts. We're going to talk about it at the Rise. I feel like I haven't been doing enough dancing on these lives lately. Well, it's just me today, and that means it's all about you today. I want to focus on those one-to-many sales. I'm going to be sharing slides. I think I might know how to do it this time. We're going to find out. I was all kinds of discombobulated with my Be Live last time. Thank you so much, everybody who's been tuning in and following along. If you have not yet signed up for this series, thank you, Aurora. You are a rock star. If you're not a member of this series yet, meaning you have not actually enrolled, you definitely want to do that. Not only are you going to get all of these trainings, which we have been sharing with you live each weekday, but there are additional bonuses inside this membership site, I guess we could call it, website that we've put together for this special series. And what else? Let me put this URL and bonus content. So while I'm going to be sharing with you a training today, and there is bonus content from me inside this series, there's also bonuses from some of our experts. There's a great one from David Newman, who I had on yesterday, all about how to use keynote speaking to grow your business. Really great tips and training from him that's available to you. There is some goodies from Mr. Andrew. Christina Daves, who will be on with me early next week, has contributed a training on a toolkit for publicity. We'll be talking about that Monday. You don't want to miss it. Tomorrow, I've got some great training lined up on Facebook on your page. How do you re-engage your page? So it'll be a really great complement to the conversation we had with Andrew. But today is really all about your talk and that one-to-many sales surge. So definitely grab a pen, grab your favorite tea or coffee, because we are going to dive straight in. So I'm going to see if I can actually show my slides this time. Okay, let me see. Now you can see them. Okay, hopefully you like this side by side. I think that's going to be a good way to go. So we're going to rock it out this way. Awesome. So really, this is what I fundamentally believe in my heart of hearts for each and every one of you and all of my clients is you're just one talk away from really rocking your business to the next level. I think often about John Maxwell, very famous speaker and author and pastor. And he says, a good leader sustains momentum, a great one increases it. And you may have seen snippets of this training. There's a whole big long training in the site, in the series site for you that you can go through. Today, I'm just going to grab onto closing the room and really dig into that with you, by the way. So if you've seen this, don't worry about it. You want to stay. And if you haven't seen the full length version of this training, you'll have access to that too. I've got you covered either way. But what John Maxwell is saying right here is so important to dig into, is to really realize that generating momentum is one of the most important things that you can do in your business to continue growing. And it's why this entire series is focused on visibility, so that you don't feel like this. Because when you don't have visibility, creating momentum essentially feels like you're trying to push a car up a hill, like with no gas, right? It is not fun. It's way too heavy lifting. But coaches and consultants who know how to command a room, they have certainty. They know that they are able to generate those big surges of leads and clients when they want them. So today's training, I'm going to focus on how you can do that with your talk. Very, very powerful tool. If you don't know me, if you're brand new and you're stumbling on this live broadcast, just know that I really became known by creating a very simple system that you can follow that turns your personality and your expertise, we want both of those in there, into a talk that will generate a rush of sales for your business. So you can generate 5, 6, even multiple 6-figure months using speaking as the engine of your business. So today, what I want to dig into with you are some of the mistakes that people are making that will slow that momentum down, not intentionally, but it will. Even some of the really popular strategies right now are really holding people back. So we'll talk about what that is. I want to talk briefly about one-to-many sales, give you some ideas on how that might work depending upon what kind of business and what kind of products and programs you're selling. And then again, we're going to spend time on closing the room. I want to share with you kind of these 3 critical components that generate that sales surge. We're not talking about anything that's pushy or salesy or aggressive or anything like that. So all of this can be in keeping with your natural personality. I'm kind of curious, before I go any further though, how many of you have made an offer, a one-to-many offer, like an offer from the front of the room to a group, or maybe on a big stage at a conference? Just say, what? I rock my talk in the comments. I don't know why that was so hard for me to come up with. Thank you, Suzanne, by the way, for letting me know that the slides are working. So let me know, those of you watching, if you have made an offer from the stage before. You can just say, I've rocked my talk. In the chat box, I'd be kind of curious, and then I'm just going to keep rocking. I'll check back in on your results. Here's what making those offers from the stage can do for you. Knowing how to create one-to-many sales surges means you can fill your group coaching program. We did that with our Biz Club from our event. We'll talk about that. Multiple 6 figures basically generated from the stage, one-to-many. The Rock Your Talk program, that was more of like an online launch. We did about 100,000 just in pay in fulls. More than that when you add in the pay plans, and over $200,000 when you add in upsells. We'll talk a little bit more about that later in today's training. And then, a membership site, which I did both online and off. When I sold the Start Me Up with Speaking Club, I was out speaking at events, selling it, doing webinars and selling it, really marrying the strategies. And that was, almost $200,000, just a hair shy. Again, selling a $1,000 course. So there's lots of ways you can rock your talk, but use that one-to-many leverage. That's what will allow you to get out of the grind and generate those big sales surges. Even if you're a solopreneur like me, I have no employees. I don't have a big sales team or anything like that. So these paydays are possible if you understand how to leverage one-to-many sales, which is why we're talking about it today. Now, the kinds of businesses that I work really well with, it's not everybody, but if you have a product business, you sell information products, maybe you have a software, a physical product that you want to sell. A lot of my clients are other coaches and consultants. So you might be wanting to replace your one-on-one sales or layer one-to-many sales on top of that. We'll talk a little bit about how that can really change your schedule, free you up a ton. And then I also work with agencies and professional or personal development companies, training their speakers on how to create that one talk and have them go out with a real sales strategy to generate those one-to-many sales. Now, Chelsea Marie, you'll meet her at the Rise. She's amazing. When I met her, she was only 20 years old, a wee babe, doubled her rates, closed 100% of the room, started generating 15 and 20K months. Really amazing. And while being totally young and gorgeous and very Chelsea Marie and bubbly, there's no aggression, there's no high pressure sales happening. She introduced me to Jen, now Jen Cash. She was Jen Fitzgerald. Jen went and booked one really big talk at a large conference that served the network marketing market. And she had a software that was specifically for that market. Her first talk ever, making an offer from the stage, generated $16,500 in recurring revenue. Now, I always share Jen's results. They are not normal, so I'm very careful to say that not the average person isn't going to sell $200,000 from their very first talk, but it's possible. The other really cool thing is everything went wrong in Jen's talk. Everything, not in her talk, but I mean the environment. I'll share a little bit about this later. And then this is a good example. Dan owns a multi-million-dollar professional development agency or company that works in the automotive industry. Our work together was specifically on boosting their in-the-room one-to-many sales for all of his salespeople. First talk out that they tested it took their sales from 0 the year before to $24,000 right in that hour. That's without ever doing any follow-up. So imagine, I haven't checked in with them recently, they grew that with follow-up, right? And upsells. So that was just the initial payday. So here's the really cool thing. We want to position you as a go-to resource in your leader. Speaking kind of automatically does that when you do it well, which is actually not that hard to do. That's the good news. There's a lot of people who are not working on this skill. So if you put some time and energy, you get a little bit of coaching and strategy, you come join me at the Rise Live event, you just get a little bit of help. It goes a long way to making you stand out. Clients will come to you handing you orders. That's way better than feeling like you're chasing people around and hounding them. It's, I think, probably a big reason why I fell in love with speaking and selling from the stage was not wanting to chase people. And then it gives you that leverage that allows you to create bigger sales without burning yourself out. So if you were on my live on Monday, I shared a little story about getting water. Like as an analogy, let's say you lived in a village and there's no water. So one person's like, okay, I have a way to solve this problem. We're going to fill a bucket with water and every day I'll fill it and we'll have some water for the day. And that does help. It's just not the best way to solve the problem, right? So another way that you could do would be like to increase the size of the thing that you're carrying or try to see if you can carry 2 buckets instead of 1. There's still really a limited amount of scalability here because once you stop being able to carry that water, if you get sick or someone else gets sick and you need to take care of them or your leg hurts, you're out of water, right? It's a very fragile, very vulnerable system. But if we build a pipeline, now we have something that's more long lasting. It's scalable. You can turn on the water when you need it. There's plenty of it. In fact, enough water for you and more than you, right? A whole village could be taken care of or a whole family. So the question you want to ask yourself today is your business more like hauling buckets right now, or are you building a pipeline? And what we're focused on in this series is the kind of the 3 different elements, which is know what brings you in leads. That's why I'm sharing all these different platforms with you because you want to use more than one. Yes, you should use speaking if you feel like a teacher at heart and you're a coach or a consultant. It's a great tool, but use that along with your Facebook group and along with doing some keynotes, right? So your talk is the thing that's going to draw people in. The faucet is when you make your offer, right? That's that moment of conversion. And the container is your product or program. And so the 2 things that we want to look at is, can we get you out of the buckets, right? Because that's not going to scale. It's going to tire you out and burn you out. The second challenge we kind of want to wipe away is the idea that the pipeline itself doesn't really convert clients, right? The pipeline just brings people in. So you could have a very expensive, super fancy pipeline and have it just be spitting people out the other end and not transforming into clients. So that moment of conversion, which is what we're going to talk about today, it's bigger than a moment, knowing how to convert clients one-to-many is absolutely critical. So we want that attraction methodology. We're giving you lots of ideas in this series. We want you to understand how to create that sales surge and then have the right offer for you and your business. So if your business isn't where you want it to be yet, couple of questions you can ask yourself. How many leads were you able to speak with in the last week? And if that answer is 0, in a way, or a low number, that's good news in that you could turn this around really quickly, right? If you don't have, the next question is how many clients were you able to close? So some of you are struggling getting leads. Some of you are getting leads, but they're not turning into clients. So I'm kind of curious in the chat, if you wouldn't mind letting me know, are you looking to get more leads or do you want to close more of the leads that you're already attracting? So you could say leads or close or both? Let me know. Are you going to cover scripting? Good question, Jen. I will talk a little bit about that. I'll just tell you right now, I'm not a big fan of scripting, but before we wrap, I'll tell you what to do instead, because I think that's obviously super important and I don't want to leave you hanging. So yes, great question, Jen Ryan. Thank you so much. Yes, Suzanne, I love that you are rocking your talk. Definitely let me know if you want more leads or if you need more help actually closing leads that you're already getting. I'm kind of curious where you guys are at with that. Okay. And I'll be checking back, by the way. So even if you're watching the replay, answer the question so I can message you and give you some tips and some help along the way. And then the last question is, can you double your sales without doubling your hours? Really important thing to ask yourself when you're wanting to grow your business. Can we double the number of sales and clients coming in without doubling the amount of hours you're working? These 3 questions are super critical in helping to grow your business. The leaders that you see on stage and on top podcasts and things like that, they're getting, even because they're visible, they're getting even more invitations to speak and be on podcasts and partner with industry leaders. So it's kind of a case of like the haves keep having and the have-nots keep having not, if that makes sense. So once you break through this barrier and you get yourself out there, the good news is all of this starts coming to you as well. So we want you to have that predictable system. And here is the key kind of equation that we want to cue into. When you speak to X number of people, you convert X percentage, you generate X number of sales. I know this seems really simple. You could take a snapshot of this. And by the way, inside this series, I've created a calculator. I literally custom created a calculator. It is so cool. You're going to find it. It's called the Rock Your Talk Profit Calculator. Definitely play around because it automates this. If you don't know what your conversion ratio is, I always ask people to start at about 20%. So if you had 100 people, you would multiply that by 0.20 to figure out how many clients you would leave the room with. 20% is a kind of a good, solid, but not record-breaking closing ratio. It's pretty conservative. You could definitely close, 30, 40, 50, all the way up to 100% of a room. All that's possible, but 20, if you're just getting started and you don't know, use 20%. But this starts to give you an idea of how often you want to speak, or what if you spoke to slightly larger groups. You'll start to see how you can increase this number just by increasing your close or increasing the cost, the investment of the program you're selling. Lots of things we can play with. So the one thing that I want you to take away from what I'm teaching you in this series is that you can sell one-to-one. And Andrew gave some great tips on like closing people, getting someone to chat with you, see if they need help, have a strategy session. That is absolutely a good way to go, but I don't love that as a business model because it'll burn you out. You'll have literally sales calls, going all the time, and they're very time consuming. So I am a fan of strategy sessions, but I like to be judicious. So we'll circle back around to that. Imagine if instead you rock your talk to 100 prospective clients instead of going one by one by one. Now, again, let's just say you do want to sell via strategy sessions. You want those high-end sales. You can make that offer. You can close people from your talk into strategy sessions. Instead of booking them one at a time, book 20 at a time. Way, way, way more effective and easier to scale. So that option of using your talk to book consultations or sales conversations or strategy sessions, whatever you like to call it, that's great for those of you who want those VIP high-end sales, okay? Perfect strategy, but we're giving you a lot more leverage doing it this way with your talk. I'm not saying don't use the Facebook groups and the Messenger, but layer it on top of this powerhouse, okay? Now, let's say you don't want any of those high-end sales or you want to sell your course. You already have your private client roster filled. You want more leverage sales. So we could put 50 people, 100 people, 1,000 people in your course. It doesn't take up any more of your time, right? It's a one-to-many option. So now, same thing, give your talk, make your offer. We'll talk about that in a second. And now you're selling your course for, let's say, $500. You're going to generate a sweet payday. Now, $500 is pretty conservative. That's a great starting price point for someone who has a new online course or a workshop, something like that. Here's the cool thing I want you to know. There is a ripple effect that happens when you give your talk live and you really connect with your audience and you're standing up being your amazing expert. We talk a lot about this in Community Room. By the way, I'm going to show you guys how you can get access to Community Room today. I'm really excited about that. When you give your talk, you rock the room in just the way you do. You don't have to be Kristin Thompson or anybody else, that you follow or that teaches you. Be yourself, okay? Water break. Here's the thing. A small percentage of that higher level client exists in every room. It's like I was gonna say a dirty little secret, but it's not dirty. It's a great little secret. Out of every room, there's a small percentage of people that want your VIP day, your high-end mastermind. They're smart. They get that you don't only sell like a beginner course, that you do customized, mentorship, that you have done for you services. So out of a room of 100 people, you can get more than one, but let's just say one person into your higher end offer. Now, if you'll notice on these slides and in my examples, I'm keeping the numbers very reasonable. I'm not saying that your high-end client is $50,000, but it might be, right? That's totally fine. I just try to keep my examples a little more reasonable so that we're not getting too hyperbolic. Okay, so if you book some strategy sessions just with those few people who are interested in working with you closer, and you just get one person who's a really good fit for your higher end offer, great. Everybody else is going to go into that entry level course or program. So we always, from our talk, our main offer that we're going to focus on, we want that to be entry level because that gives you that big burst, those 20 people or 30 people or 100 people all at once. Those are people buying your entry level course. They're also leads for your mid and high level programs or your retreat, right? These are now leads that have paid you. They're paying clients. It's amazing. So yes, get those high end sales. But the main offer, we want entry level so that we get that massive surge of clients and income. And those people can also be candidates for your higher level course. Here's a real world example. I went to speak to about 100 people. I closed 35% of the room. Back then I was selling a course for $595. So that was about $20,000. One person in the room had already gone through Community Room, had gone through the course already. So she wanted a VIP day and some VIP mentorship, like a 90-day jumpstart where I crafted her talk, created her sales strategy, all of that. Okay, well, those two things together, about a $36,000 payday. Again, pretty close to this example. It really does work this way. If one or two people want the high level, the big surge comes from the big bulk of the room, which want your entry level course. By the way, what we're going to talk about today, the closing the room, what we are talking about, also works for your workshop or event. Remember, every time you lead a workshop or event, you want to be making an offer for a higher level program, group program or a mastermind or a private consulting. You have that capacity when you've built that relationship, which is what we're going to be delving into next, to make a high-end offer. So even if you only get 20 sales, again, I'm just keeping the numbers really reasonable. 100 people in the room, 20 sales. You can do way more than that at a live event. That's, a multiple 6 up to 7-figure payday that can be generated. So let's talk about how this really works and dive in a little deeper. So there's more than 3 steps, of course, but I always focus in on 3 things. I'm not going to talk about brand today. We do talk about this at the Rise and in my coaching group often. It's just really making sure you're staying in alignment with your brand. So do that. Be you. Always be authentically you. Yes, you want to stay highly visible. I'm giving you tons of tips during this series on how to do that. So what I want to focus in on is stage 3. Okay, if you're on brand, you're being you, you're standing out by being yourself. We've got that visibility. We're giving you tons of tips in this series on how to get gigs and how to get visible. How do you close the clients? So how many of you would be helped by understanding the one-to-many sales? Like put dollar signs in the little comments below if this is something that definitely would help you, the closing the room. Because I find this is where people stumble, is you are like a teacher at heart That's kind of how you feel on the inside. You really care about your clients. You love speaking, but then like, when it comes to making the offer, you just get all like awkward and you feel uncomfortable. Just let me know if that's you. It's usually a fair number of people on the line. Jen Ryan's asking great questions. Love your questions. I just don't know how I run a workshop and people want to buy the free but never buy. Okay, so Jen, it really is about strategy. So, and I'll private message you too. Thank you, Susan. I can private message you too, but there's some of what I'm going to talk about right now is going to help you because it's still one-to-many sales. Whether you're giving a talk or you're selling at a workshop or event, the moment when you're making your offer really kind of works the same. The difference at a workshop is there's a lot of strategy that we want to go into in the content and how you put that together. So I will make sure, let me make a note. I'll reach out to you because I definitely have some resources that can help you with that. Jen Ryan workshops. Okay, so I see a ton of people stumble here on making the offer. Now, let me pull the slides down just for a quick sec. When I was just getting started, why is it doing that? That's weird. Okay. There we go. When I was just getting started, I really struggled with making offers. I didn't want to pressure people. I didn't want to be pushy. I would get really, really nervous, which I still get nervous. I'm very transparent. I'm a nervous Nelly at heart and just by nature. Sometimes I would even just kind of like chicken out. I would get all the way to that moment and I would be like, ah! And I would just say something like, oh, I hope you liked today's talk. And if you need anything else, I'll be back here. It's something really awkward and weird. And it would just like end on this funky note. So let's really kind of shift this for you right here and now. And then know that if you get into Community Room, if you come join me at the Rise, we are definitely going to bust through some of the mindset pieces that are holding you back on this. And we'll dig even deeper into the strategy that I'm going to share with you right now. Okay, let's go back to the slides and let's dig into this closing the room. Too far. Okay, so there are 9 steps to closing the room. I'm not going to go through each and every step today because the bigger point that I actually want to make is that I can teach you the steps. We go through them at the Rise. They're simple. You'll understand them and you can do them. But if knowing what those 9 steps were all you needed to close and generate these huge sales, everybody would be doing huge sales all the time, number one. Number two, we wouldn't need people, right? Like we could just put a robot out on stage and go, step 1 to closing the room, right? Raise the value of the program. Step 2, drop the price. Like it's not about that. You do need to know the steps. They're important. But without the 3 keys I'm going to share with you in a minute, they do not work. So I just want to be very clear about that. It's good to use templates and it's good to know the steps. I teach them, but without these 3 deeper pieces that I have up on the screen right now, the steps will not work. So what I go back to, I just love to go to people smarter than me. And you know who's smarter than me? Aristotle. I trust him. So he's a philosopher. If you're not familiar, he's like, along with Plato, is considered like the father of philosophy. So, no big deal. 3 things he talks about when you are trying to persuade anybody, like making a court case or talking about how to change your health or how to fix your marriage or how to get wealthy or wise or grow your business. It's all persuasion, right? 3 things: logos, ethos, and pathos or pathos. I'm never sure if I'm saying that correctly. Logos is the logic. It's the facts. Ethos is the credibility, the sort of like trust that we can build, being ethical, letting people feel safe to say yes to you. That's super important. Pathos or pathos is the emotional piece. So what I see, and I've worked with thousands and thousands of people. I've had thousands of people come to the Rise Live event. I have tons of experience helping people close more clients. The most common thing in our industry, let me go like this, is people either go all the way into facts over here and they're all about the content, and more content. And Jen, this actually could be helping you with your workshop. Same thing goes there. If it's all content only, people will start to, A, can kind of tune out, but B, they kind of feel like, okay, well, I learned the 3 keys, or I learned the 9 steps, I'm good to go. And they don't necessarily get activated to take the next step. It gets a little too heady, and it can also overwhelm people. So you can overwhelm people with the volume and depth of content that you give them. That can cause people to not buy from you because they feel overwhelmed and they're like, holy cow, like I can't even get through this free talk, or I can't even get through this 1-day workshop. How am I going to work with her for a year? So we always want to balance and make sure that we're giving the right amounts. It's like a recipe, right? We don't want all sugar. We want some sugar. So we want facts and we want evidence, but we don't want only that. And this is a big mistake a lot of people make with their talks. It's all content. Now, the other way is all emotion. This is the feel-good talks. Keynotes tend to be more pathos in general, again, broad strokes. So if your talk is just like very feel-good and kind of vague, that doesn't hit people. It's not going to get them to want to buy from you. It's just not enough. So, and a lot of people just miss this credibility piece altogether. A lot of my clients do in particular, because you're kind of humble and you don't want to be braggadocious or anything like that. So sometimes we just skip that altogether and we go all facts or all feeling, and we're all discombobulated and we're off balance. Okay. So if all you do is take away from this training that you want these 3 elements in your whole talk, by the way, not just the moment when you make your offer, making your offer, again, the 9 steps of making your offer, that is a component of closing the room, but your close happens from the moment you step on the stage. If people don't believe you're credible and honest and ethical from the minute you hit the stage, if you don't grab people's attention and get them feeling something at the beginning of your talk, the 9 steps will have absolutely no impact on your sales at all. If that makes sense to you, hit me up with some dollar signs down below, because this is the name of the game right here. Absolutely critical to understand this step. So let's talk a little bit about what you can do with this information. Think of it this way also. This is like a shift around closing the room, is that you're really starting a movement. You're asking people to join you in a movement. So take a moment, and you can even put it in the comments down below. What is your movement? Like, it could be that you teach weight loss. Let's say you teach keto weight loss. I'm just saying that because I'm trying to get back on my keto diet today. Woo! I have been crazy with carbs. So today, I'm not. I was going to show you what I'm eating, but I'm not going to. But I got some meat and cheese next to me that I'm dining on today. Anyhoozle, let's say you're a keto expert. Your movement might be to end childhood obesity, or it could be to empower women to feel energetic and confident in their bodies. So do you see that 2 different weight loss experts or 100 different weight loss experts are each going to have a very different movement? The movement is really what drives you, and it's what you want to give your clients. And so when we're making our offer and when we're giving our talk, we want this movement, that energy to be embedded in your entire talk. That will add this pathos piece that will really connect in with people. And when we combine that with some great content, then we're 2/3 of the way there, right? Then we just need to add in the credibility. So 3 steps that you can take today. And you can take a screenshot of this if you're watching live, or just go back to the replay to this moment in the training. And 3 decisions that you can make, 1 for each. Again, this isn't a cure-all. These are just good steps in the right direction to revamp the energy of your talk and close more clients. Please be clear on at least one thing you want your audience to come to know, learn, or understand by the end of your talk. If they only get one thing, what do you want them to know, learn, or understand? What is one way you totally already know you want them to feel? Do you want them to feel inspired? Do you want them to feel fed up with something? We all have a different vibe, right? How do you want them to feel in order for them to really step into what you have to offer and make a change? And then the third question that you want to answer is, what is one way that you could show you're credible? Now, I teach lots of different ways to do this. Testimonials are a really quick way. Like I was sharing with you, well, I guess I was modeling it, right? I was sharing with you at the beginning, like here's some people that I've helped. I've helped Chelsea, I helped Jen, I helped Dan with his company and tons more people. I got to share that with you. Again, not to brag, but so that you know that I know what I'm talking about and this works. So testimonials are a way to show you're credible. Even just the way you present yourself, your confidence actually builds trust and credibility. Sharing stages you've been on or media you've been featured on is another way. So there's lots. This is not a finite list, but I hope that gives you some really quick ideas. So as you've been through any of my trainings, you always want to have an offer. We will inside community room and at the Rise help you craft your offer. But just know there's 3 offers we can all really bring as service professionals. Even if you have a software, if you have products, or you're a personal and professional development company, have a free gift that's downloadable and digital. That's going to help you grow your lead list and really start conversations with people who maybe aren't quite ready to immediately say yes. If you want higher end clients, you could offer a limited number of consultations just for those people who've been really activated and they're like, whoa, how do I work with you? Consultations are great for that. But your leveraged offer, that should really be your main offer for most of you so that you can generate that big sales surge, but not be working more and more hours. Your leveraged offer should be entry level. We're talking for most of you, $1,000 or less. It's different for everybody. Like Dan with a professional development company, his entry level is $3,000 or $4,000. I have another client whose entry level is $2,500 or $3,000. So everybody's different, but broad strokes, $1,000 or less for this leverage offer. And that's the main offer you make at the end of your talk. Again, keeping in mind the tone. We want information. We want to make sure people feel safe to say yes. That's the ethics. And then we want them to feel. How do we want them to feel to say yes? And here's what is so cool about this. If you put this together, you will totally know how to create that steady stream of leads and clients. So we're shifting from like luck and rolling the dice to having a system that you can follow. It's what I've done for Tracy, who's really been amazing at putting together small rooms and generating 5-figure paydays from little rooms, but intimate workshop style. Rob launched some leverage courses and programs, racked up 54 sales and then 60 sales and 184 sales. Monique was already awesome at getting those high-end sales from consultations, but she was burnt out. She wanted to layer on the leveraged income. So we put together her talk and system to generate those multiple 6 figures. Mary was the other end of the spectrum. She wanted high-end private clients. So we did talk to consultation to sales. That generated 6 figures for her in 60 days. So this can really work for you. It just depends on how you want to apply it for your business. And that's what I am happy to help you with. So we want to go from that buckets to the pipeline. And if you're ready, I definitely want to help you. So I put something together just for this promotion during this highly visible entrepreneur series to help you get started. And I definitely want to invite you to come in and get access. You can get immediate online access to the Command Any Room course. This is the first program that I created. It still gets rave reviews. And there are several key things that it's going to show you how to do that will help you get started. It's great if you want to, again, get one-on-one clients, if you want to fill a workshop, if you want to sell a product or software. It takes you through 5 key steps. So we'll create your plan. Again, you can use that revenue calculator inside the series, but inside this course, we'll map out a full plan of how often you want to speak and where do you want to speak. I'll show you how to book those speaking gigs. Very critical, simple skill. Everyone can start booking gigs right out of the gate. I've helped tons of people do this. You're going to craft your talk. And in fact, there's a bonus inside, a full 3-hour virtual workshop, basically, where I lead you through step by step, piece by piece, putting your talk together. And I want to answer, I think it was Jen's question here in a minute about scripting your talk word for word. So I'll cover that before we close here and I'll answer questions. You're going to rock your talk. So how do you deliver it? And then how do you make money from it? So this course sold for $500. It's definitely worth it. And I've got the Rise Live event coming up. It is October 25th through 27th. So great to come in person and get live training. We do little breakthrough sessions where you book gigs in the room. We talk deep about closing the room and all of the steps, have you map out your hot offer. It's all going to get done at the Rise Live event. So going through Command Any Room online, then coming and getting that in-person training, I could not decide what to offer you. So I'm going to put it all together for you during this series. So I'm not going to give you one ticket. I'm going to give you 2 tickets. So you can come with a friend, your business partner, a colleague, a client, whoever you want to bring with you. 2 seats at the Rise Live event. It's a $1,500 package. But when you visit commandanyroom.com, it's only $387 today. Oh my goodness. Are you pumped? I hope you are. I'm going to put it in the chat box. Oh gosh, I'm not very good at typing, by the way. So we'll see if I can get this done. Commandanyroom.com. Visit it right now. You can hop in for so little, $387. Guess what? There's even a pay plan. So there's really no excuse. I don't like getting bossy, but I will if it helps you. If you want to learn how to get more visible and actually use your message to attract high-end and entry-level massive sales surges, then you definitely want to come and join us. And this is just a great way to give you the online basic training and then come in person for that rock and roll training with me. It's going to be a big celebration this year. This is my 10th year in business. So expect party vibes, but really solid content. So this combo is perfect for you if you're a coach or consultant, author or expert. You already have a business, but you want to really fulfill your potential. You know, you have that feeling sometimes like you're just not quite fulfilling your full talent and potential. If you have an information product or you want to create one, if you have a group or you have a mastermind, you have a live event, these are all opportunities where we can use one-to-many sales to sell out those courses. If you use your expertise to make a difference and you want to sell, but you don't want to be that pushy, salesy, old-fashioned thing, don't worry about it. We totally have you covered. What I will say is this is not for you if you don't have a business yet. I am not the right coach for you if you don't know what your business is and you have no clue what you want to be or do. That this would not be a good fit. If you're kind of not a take responsibility person, if you have a bad attitude, I don't think you'd be on this live. But I just want you to know my crew and my crowd, we're not full of whiners or complainers. If you only buy products and you don't implement, that makes me sad. Don't do it. Please, please, please implement. And this is absolutely for you. Why? Because rockin' clients get rockin' results. So please get started today. Visit Command Any Room. You're not going to see the event on there because maybe I did add it on there, but you will get 2 tickets to the Rise and you're going to get instant online access to Command Any Room. And if anyone is really excited about hopping in today, I will try to dream up even an extra bonus while I answer some of your questions. Okay, let me get back to Be Live. A couple things that I wanted to make sure I talked about. So let's hide those slides. Jen asked a really good question about, there we go. Jen asked a really good question about memorizing your talk. And I want to touch on that before we wrap while those of you are hopping into Command Any Room. Remember, you're getting 2 seats to the Rise, by the way. So when we talk about memorizing your talk, I am not a fan of writing your talk out word for word. That's number 1. It's a real big waste of your time and you're going to get focused on trying to say everything perfectly. It'll really slow you down. And more importantly, it'll kind of bog down your confidence, right? Like your flow, your personality. And we want that to really help you connect with people in a meaningful way. So one of the things that I teach you to do inside Command Any Room and in that workshop where we map out your talk, we're outlining the talk, and you can write down some keywords or phrases here or there, but we are not writing it. Like your talk isn't going to look like this, right? It's not going to be a big old thick binder, of a script. It's going to look more like an outline. Okay. That's number 1. Number 2, at the Rise Live event, we do a special bonus session where I teach you my super sneaky memory strategies. So before I started Speak, Serve, Grow, I worked for a personal development company. They required all of us to use memory strategies to memorize our talk, and they even taught workshops on it. very detailed ones on like memorizing names and dates and all kinds of tricky dicky stuff. And I wasn't really into any of that, but what I really thought was amazing was the power of memorizing your talk. Again, not word for word, but memorizing the open, okay, here I'm gonna ask this question, now I'm gonna do my wow demo, now I'm gonna go into my teaching point 1, okay, that has 3 challenges, what are those? I am telling you, you're gonna feel like you can't memorize it, but if you use what we teach you at the Rise, and it is so fun, you're gonna laugh like uproariously, you're gonna have a great time, but you're gonna become like a Svengali, I don't know what to call it, magician. You will know how to really quickly memorize your talk. And what that allows you to do is know the roadmap, the journey you're taking people on, how you're going to start, how you're going to engage them, your teaching points all the way through to your close, so that you can relax and really enjoy connecting with your audience and not worry that your mind is just going to go completely blank. So it actually does a ton for you, for your confidence, for your ability to close the room, to connect with your audience, all of that when you use the memory strategies. Again, this is a bonus session that we teach at the Rise Live event. Again, everybody hopping in to Community Room. You can visit communityroom.com. You're going to get instant access to this course, but you're also going to get 2 tickets to the Rise, and I will teach you the memory strategies at the Rise. You will absolutely bonkers love it. You'll find it so helpful. If there's anything that I have not covered today that you want support on, definitely tag me in the comments. I'll be checking in on them. I'm happy to private message you, answer some questions, hop on the phone if you need a little more support or you're wanting to work with me in a deeper way. Please message me and let me know. I'm happy to be there for you. But more than anything, I would love, love, love to see you at the Rise Live event. It is absolutely a powerhouse event. We do 3 days of training here in Portland. Day 1 is all about your brand. It's really like a brand confidence breakthrough and booking gigs. So we're going to talk about your goals. We're going to talk about your brand. We're going to talk about how it shows up online. We're going to have Chelsea Marie is going to host a training on online brand. We're going to talk about your personal brand style. So Rose Jubb, I have an expert coming in, a stylist. She's going to talk about how you can revamp your personal style. So how you show up in person is aligned with how you look online. None of this is super expensive, by the way. It's about giving you that clarity. So we're going to give you that at the Rise on day 1, and we're going to get you booking gigs right then and there in the room. Day 2, we're going to shift into breaking through the mindset stoppers that stumble you up on making offers and booking gigs. So really do some work on expanding your confidence, expanding your vibrance and your momentum in your business, what is holding you back, and then deep into your talk strategy so that you know how to give high converting talks. What is your order form going to look like? How are you going to use it? How are you going to break through people's fear? It's all in there. Day 2 is really focusing in on the revenue generating activities that will help you maximize sales at every single talk. And then day 3 of the Rise, we kind of pull it all together. We'll do some laser platform training. You'll hear about how to create your own book, how to use LinkedIn, how to use Facebook, how to use video. So we've got some great laser training, kind of like this series, but a little deeper and in person, so that you know, okay, now that I have my talk and my brand and I understand how to close more clients, where do I want to get visible in a way that's going to really work for my business? So it's kind of like taking day 3, a little bit of day 3 is like taking the series, but personalizing it and giving you those deeper trainings on the platforms. We also do a really fun VIP lunch. We've got cocktail parties. We've got networking. It is a hoot. It is a rip-roaring good time, but don't mistake it. You're going to leave with a binder kind of like this, big fat binder of hardcore, awesome, implementable training that you can use. So again, I'm going to follow what I teach, right? It's not just good feelings. There's also the content and the trust. We'll bring it all to you live at the Rise. I cannot wait to see you there and see you inside Community Room. You'll get into my Facebook group. You can ask me questions in there. I'm happy to help. More than anything, I hope you go out there, keep getting visible. We'll keep bringing you free training all the way through to next Friday. I'm bringing you the good stuff, and I'll see you live soon at the Rise Live event. Make it a great day and keep on rocking.